to Chicas and Chisme. We are your hosts. I'm Carla.
And I'm Angelica. Hi, welcome back to a new episode. Carla, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I can't hear you.
Welcome back.
Oh, there you go. Sexy voice. Has anyone ever told you have like a sexy operator voice?
No. When I worked at a bank, they told me I had sexy hands, but not anymore.
Let me see your hands.
Well, I work with my hands. Now I have, yes.
You have beautiful hands, Carla.
Hard-working hands.
Yes.
But today we are talking about...
Today we're going to be focusing on self-love and... Self-care and the journey that it's taken for us to get to this point and like really understand what it means, what it looks like, what you do, what you don't do. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So what? Yes, I was going to ask you, what do you do, Angelica, for your self-care?
So self-care.
Can I pause you for a quick second? Because
yes, ma'am.
I have learned that self-love and self-care is completely different.
They are.
Okay.
So I was going to get into that.
Yes. Can you explain that for a second?
I was going to explain someone who self-loves also self-cares. But
right.
someone who
what is the difference between self-love and self-care?
Self-care is...
Getting your nails done.
Yeah, it's just self-care is like caring for your body, caring for yourself, right? And self-love is genuinely falling in love with yourself and doing things that are right for you. Like if you loved your child, wouldn't you do everything possible to give that child everything that was going to make them a whole human and happy and mentally healthy, physically healthy, all those things, right? So falling in love with yourself as in at that level, right? And that, what does that look like? Caring for yourself, making time for the self-care.
Taking yourself out
on dates.
For me, that's what it is. Like, what I have learned with this whole, like, self-care, self-love, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, what would you do for a partner? Meaning, you cook for a partner, right?
Yeah.
So that you can let them know that you love them by cooking for them. Or whatever. So you do that for yourself. You cook for yourself.
You date yourself.
Yes,
cook
you date yourself. You take yourself out. Whatever you do for whatever you would do for someone else, do it for you first.
Always.
Correct?
Always.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like that whole plane thing where it says like, make sure you save yourself first before you save anyone else.
That's I tell people that.
Is that your phone?
No, that's yours.
Oh my. Sorry.
I tell people that every time, like talking to all my clients, right? I talk to clients all day long. And it's like, I have a ton of clients that are like my kids, my husband, my work, my this, my that, and they're last. Yeah. And I always give that analogy of when you're on a plane, they tell you take the mask for yourself first because that's how you're going to be able to help everybody else.
Well, you're no good if you're out of commission, if you're dead. You're no good to anyone.
You can't help anybody. No. So why can't we do that? Like
we can.
And this is the problem. And I feel like I hear this a lot where it's like, I don't take care of myself. I'm last. I have to take care of everybody else.
I don't find time for myself.
Yeah.
You know?
But okay, this is what I have learned. Now that I'm a mom, I feel like I want to be well rested. I want to be happy so that I can bring that into my daughter's life.
Yeah.
I can do things for her where I'm not annoyed, where I'm not irritated because I'm tired, because I'm overworked or whatever the case may be.
Overwhelmed. Yeah.
So
bitter.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to be happy. I want to be a happy mom so that I can show her this is what it looks like to love yourself and this is what it looks like to be happy within yourself.
A lot of situations, a lot of women in my life and, either friends or family or just random women struggle with this because they, especially as moms, they feel mom guilt, right? Uh-huh. They feel mom guilt going to the gym and leaving their kid behind for 2 hours with their dad. Like, how do you feel guilt about that? You're going to come back so happy and energized and ready to be the best version of yourself for your children and your family.
100%.
But women do feel guilty, and I am not the exception. I have in my past felt really guilty to put myself first over my children's needs or ex-husband's needs at the time, you know, and it's like, no, that's a recipe for disaster, because then you're overworked, overstressed, irritable, and they get on your nerves. Like, not gonna lie, they get on your nerves.
But not only that, but I feel like it's a cycle, because then what are you teaching your children? You're teaching that everybody else comes first and you come last.
Every time.
And listen, I have one kid. I am a mother of one, and it's a girl. And I always tell my daughter, like, make yourself happy. We live one life, and it's like, do things for yourself first. And it's not being selfish. It's not putting, yourself. Yes, it's putting yourself first. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It just means you're putting yourself first and you're giving yourself the love that you deserve.
So how can you get our listeners to understand the difference between self-love and selfish? For instance,
that's a tough one.
For instance, if you're at home and you have 30 minutes and these children are dependent on you and they're hungry, do you leave them at home hungry and go work out? Or do you feed them and give up the workout?
Why can't it be both? Why can't it be like, let me feed my kids, let me get them fed, and then I'm going to take at least 30 minutes to go work out? Why can't it be both?
And it can, but I feel like sometimes women feel
they can't do both.
That they can't do both, so they have to choose. And if they go work out and don't feed their children, then it's selfish. And yes, it is selfish if you're not feeding your children, right? But you have to figure out a schedule that works where you're feeding your children, they're getting their needs met, and you're making time for yourself. Okay, so this is something that happened this whole week for me, okay? And it's a pivotal point for me every like when this happens, and it was a pivotal point for me, I guess. Because at night, after I showered my daughter, she's good to go, she's in bed. So last night it was like 8 p.m. and I hadn't gone to the gym, but I committed to myself that I was going to go to the gym. But at this point, I'm like, it's 8 o'clock. It's already late. Do I work out at home? Get it in at home? Do I go to the gym? Or do I not work out? And then I started thinking to myself, let's say I don't work out. What am I going to do? Am I going to go to sleep right now? Am I going to read a book? Am I going to talk to someone that I need to talk to? Or like, be honest with myself, right? Yeah. And the truth was, I was going to lay in my bed and watch TV. That's what I was going to do.
And was that going to make you feel like, wow, I accomplished so much? Which is fine. If you would have chose that and that would have made you happy, then that would have been completely fine.
But you have to ask yourself, is that going to make you more happy than the feeling you're going to have when you're done working out? And then the answer was no. It wasn't.
For you, it was
For me, it was not. 100%. And so for me, it was go to the gym. And I went to the gym and I worked out for an hour and a half. And I felt amazing.
You felt amazing.
I felt amazing. So I made the right choice.
Let me tell you what happened to me this morning.
Okay.
Not this morning. Yesterday. I set my alarm to go to the gym. You know me very well. And people who know me very well, I'm not a good sleeper. I don't sleep well.
Yeah.
So I set my alarm to wake up to go to the gym. My alarm went off. And I was like, no. For me in this moment, what's important is my sleep. Because I don't sleep well. I woke up 3 times in the middle of the night. So for me in that moment was go back to sleep.
And that was self-love. Because you were giving your body what it needed. You know the difference.
Right, but the old me would have been like, holy shit, I didn't work out. You're lazy. No. You're this, you're that. Now, I'm like, I'm so happy that you chose to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I was giving myself exactly what you said. Self-love.
What it needed. Honestly, and this is a theme that I've been a little bit more connected with this year and last year. About following your intuition and being intuitive, right? With your body. With your own body. Your body tells you what it wants, what it needs. If you're listening, right? It'll tell you.
My body tells me I need wine. Your
body never tells you that, Carla. Your body doesn't tell you that.
My mind tells me I need wine.
Your bad habits tell you need wine, and it's like a cycle. But
Wine is good for your heart.
and it's okay sometimes, right? It's
Of
okay
course,
sometimes
yes,
because sometimes it's
absolutely.
not about the wine; it's about the social connection that you're having with
Or
someone.
just the relaxation that you get.
Yeah,
I want to go home.
and that's
open a
okay.
bottle and I'm
Like
fine. Yes.
like the thought of like watching a romantic comedy and having some wine and laughing by yourself, like
Right.
that's self-love. That's fine, right?
Yes, I love
But
that.
if you're doing it because you're lonely, or if it's a self-destructive cycle of drinking, that's where you have to be intuitive with your body and know the difference, right?
Right.
And you have to ask yourself why. Like why do I want to drink right now? And if it's because, you know why I want to drink right now, because I crave the taste of wine and I want to relax and I want to enjoy my night and I feel like I deserve that tonight.
Correct.
Then that's self-love. If you're like, I'm really sad today, everybody sucks, my life sucks right now, I'm so lonely, I'm going to drink because I feel empty. That's not a good reason. It's like, no.
Somebody one time mentioned, if you go home and you say, I've had a rough day, I need a drink, then that is not a good, ¿cómo te digo? That isn't a good sign of I don't remember how they explained it, but it's like, if you need a drink, then you have a problem.
You should never need.
Not necessarily with drinking.
No.
But if you say, I need a drink, then
there's something not
there's
balanced in your
something
life.
not
Yes.
exactly. But if you say, you know what, today I feel like having a drink because I want to relax, because I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna get
Enjoy.
cozy, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yes.
Or, you know what, today I'm gonna go out with my family members or my friends, and I want to have a good time, and I want to have a drink.
Yeah. That's
Then
okay.
That should be okay.
Because those are all healthy reasons why you want to have a drink.
right.
Right?
And don't get me wrong. There's times where I go home and I need a drink, but I'm not gonna make myself feel guilty over that.
No.
You know what I mean? Because there's times where I'm like, I go home and I'm like, ew, I want to have nothing to do with drinking.
Yeah.
Right? But I feel like that comes with self-love, self-care, knowing your needs, right?
Yep. And that kind of falls like being intuitive, listening to your gut feeling. That kind of goes for anything in your life, right?
Yeah.
You could get 2 job offers. Go with your gut. Which one feels right? Which one
Right.
does your body respond to? Or which one feels like happiness, safety, feels aligned with you, right?
Right.
Or you meet a person and you're like, wow, this person is like the most amazing person I've ever met. Like I haven't met in a long time. And then you go, I'm
have
talking
an
about
issue
like,
with that.
I'm talking about like friendship, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about friendship. Like people. I'm not talking about romantic or anything. I'm just talking about
yeah.
connections, like real people.
Yes.
Right? And then intuitively you'll be like, that person gives me like a weird vibe.
I've
right?
had that.
Yeah.
I've had that. And it started, and really quick, it started when I was pregnant with my daughter. Mm-hmm. Right? I had 2 people one person that I was introduced to because I was looking for a sitter. Because I knew that I had to go back to work, right?
Yeah.
So there was 2 people. I met one girl. I talked to her and I felt warm. I felt warmth. I felt like comfortable. I felt like, oh my God, she seems so great.
Yeah.
She was so open to my questions. She was so open to everything that I had to say. And then I met another person and I was like, oh, hell no.
But was it something they said or is it the feeling you
The
got?
feeling I got, their presence. It was like, nope, there's no leaving my kid with you. There's no way. So there was 2 people that I not interviewed, but that I met with.
Yeah.
One was like, awesome.
Was hell yes.
Hell yes. She took care of my daughter from 2 months till 3 years.
Yeah.
And I am still friends with her.
Yeah.
This lady, I was like, no. And one of my friends that had told me about her was like, she has so much experience. She has all these kids. In that moment, I said, hell to the no. There's no way I'm leaving my kid with you. So yes, it has to do with intuition, right? It has to do with feelings.
Be self-aware. Be aware of others.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the best way to get around, right? Meaning friendships. I met you and I was like, something feels right about this. And it has felt right ever since. It has felt ever since. But it could be with family. It could be with friends. It could be with, like you said, romantic. Mm-hmm. My romantic part, I have to work on it. I have to work on that.
I think that was probably one of our biggest challenges, yours and mine, the romantic side. It gets complicated, right? I don't have a problem meeting people for friendship. I don't have a problem picking good people to be in my life. I really don't, because I don't keep people around that give me that negative feeling. I only keep people around that give me a positive feeling, and I invest in those relationships, and then they invest in me, and it works, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to romantic relationships, I feel like we just put so much pressure on it, so much expectations, and the expectations are never met, whether it's my expectations or their expectations, right? We are like walking around like, I feel like everyone's walking around like they're way up here and they have all these expectations, and it's like everyone's human, right? So I do have a hard time, not intuitively, because I do know intuitively, like when some guy's giving me the creepy feeling or he's making me feel, but I have a hard time because I do have expectations and I want them met. And I try to meet their expectations. Mm-hmm. Why are you smiling? And I want them to meet my expectations, and I want to meet theirs, right? Right. But it's unrealistic sometimes, right? And so I do struggle with relationships. I don't know. Maybe we don't struggle. Maybe we just haven't met the right person.
You know, it's funny because I was talking to one of my clients and I told her I have no problem meeting people, right? I have, when it comes to men, and here we go, coming back. We're talking about self-care, self-love, but here we go back to men, right?
Well, because you set boundaries and all that stuff. That's part of it.
And I said, I have no problem meeting men. I don't have a problem. I have a problem keeping people in my life, men particularly. And you know what she said? She said, because they are not the right person.
Yeah.
And I was
You're not meant to keep them.
Like,
they're not meant to be kept.
They come into my life. You know, we've read this before. Yeah. Like, they come into our lives to teach us a lesson, right? They come, they pass. If they're meant to stay, they'll stay. If they're meant to go, they're going to go, right? So back to self-care, self-love. I have learned that I'm going to put myself first.
Always.
I have had the bad habit of putting a man's needs first than mine.
The thing is, though, Carla, I don't want to date someone who puts my needs first. I want to date someone who loves themselves too. Yeah. So, like, I want someone who loves me and loves themselves. Because if they love themselves, how much can they love? Like, they're going to love me amazing because they know how to love. They know how to love themselves. So they're not going to jeopardize their own self-love to love me. Right. But they're going to know how to respect me and care about me because they respect and care about themselves. Mm-hmm. Right? And vice versa. I want to fall in love with somebody that loves me as much as I love me. But I want to love them as much as they love themselves. Like, I've dated the spectrum, right? Where the guy was all about me. And I'm like, don't you love yourself? Like, stop dropping everything for me. You lose your value.
I did that one time. Yes. And I experienced that one time.
And it's not cute either.
It was a turnoff.
It's a total turnoff.
It was like, what are you doing? Doesn't your kid come first? It was
about
the kids.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see what you were doing first. And I'm like,
no.
Go see what your kid wants first.
Yes. Not me.
This was it wasn't a turn on. It was a turn off.
Yeah. No, so there's a spectrum, right? Like, it's like love yourself enough. Like, I want to date someone who loves themselves enough to set boundaries. Like, don't let me get away with stupid shit either. Right? Set boundaries. Love yourself. Right. But make time for me, respect me, contribute to the relationship.
Healthy. That's healthy.
Yeah. But don't put up with my shit if I'm being unhealthy. Right. Call me out. But then forgive me, respect me enough, and guide me to be a better partner. And I'm going to be open to be a better partner.
Correct.
And vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've dated the spectrum where it's like he's super selfish. He always puts himself first. He doesn't give a shit about my needs, nothing. And over here where he and I'm like, dude, that's too much. Like there has to be like this medium where it's like he cares about me, loves me, takes care of me, but won't let me cross his boundaries. But then I don't want to cross his boundaries anyway. Tell me what your boundaries are. Like one of my ex-husbands was really into baseball, right? My first husband. And he told me from the get-go, on Sundays, I play baseball. I play baseball. You're not going to change that. That's what I do. That's what I do for self-care. I love playing baseball. It's my passion. I've been doing that since I was a little boy.
Take me or leave me.
I take it or leave it. That's what I'm going to do. And you know what I did? I accepted it. And I said, cool. Sometimes I would go on Sundays and I would see him play. And other times I'm like, it's also my Sunday. I don't want to go. Sometimes I'm like, this is my Sunday and I don't want to spend it that way.
It was your self-care.
And that was me loving myself enough to say, I don't feel like going today.
Right.
But I'm not going to keep you from going because that's what you love to do. So you go, but don't expect me to go every single time.
Right.
Right? So it was like, and I respected that. I was like, I respect that that's what you want to do. That's your Sunday. That's how you want to spend it. Like, by all means, do that. Don't expect me to go. I will go sometimes. I will take our son. He can come see you play. But I don't want to feel like I'm obligated to go every Sunday.
Right.
But I also don't want you to feel guilty that I'm like, stay with me. Right?
Right.
No. It's about respecting each other's wants and give and take.
But at the same time, it was like he told you straight up.
It's called communication. Communicate.
Right. And you said, you could have been like, no, I'm not going to do this.
No, I was like, it's fine. And I really deep down, I didn't care. I was like, if that makes you happy, do it.
Yeah. And I think in back to relationships, right?
Self-love is part of relationships.
Relationships, I feel like now that I'm older and I want to believe that I'm a little more experienced and a little bit more, focused, I feel like you have to tell that other person your wants and your needs and don't throw tantrums.
No. As women, I feel like we have this bad rep.
Don't throw tantrums because you don't get what you get. So listen,
communicate.
We're grown. We're adults.
Yeah.
Right? If we communicate, and if that person tells you, you know what, that's
not for me, that's fine.
But be an adult about it. Say, you know what, that's not going to work. I'm sorry. I think you're great, or I don't think you're great. Whatever the fuck you want to say, but I'm going to move on. That's what I have a problem with. That people are not being adults about shit.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah. It's like, one, self-love means self-awareness, understanding your own needs, get to know why are you dating people if you don't even know who you are? Go date yourself.
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Where do you like to go? What do you like to read? What is your topics? Like, do you like to go out after 8 p.m.? Maybe you don't. Maybe, on the weekends, you like to spend it this way. Know yourself before you start dating someone.
Right.
Know yourself and then communicate those things. And they will communicate with you. And then it will overlap. Whatever can overlap will. And respect that you are two completely different individuals. That doesn't change.
But communicate.
Yes.
My whole thing is communication. Can I be honest with you?
Always.
Okay. So before I got married to my husband, my second husband, I was the worst communicator.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, we need to communicate. And I have learned from him, thank you for his second husband, to communicate.
Yes.
So now to me, communication is big.
Well, like you can't read each other's minds.
If you don't communicate with me, then you don't need to be here. So if you have an issue, or if you don't like something, or if you think that this isn't going to work, or whatever, in any way, friendships, relationships, romantic relationships, anything. Communicate with me. Because guess what? I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to be like, what? I'm going to be like, I get it.
I respect your boundary.
Thank you for communicating me.
Yeah.
I mean, communicating with me. Right. Like, you don't think this is going to work out? Hey, I
That's
don't think
fine.
this is going to work out.
Or-
because XYZ.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic.
Or you know what? I think this could work, but I need you
to do
to
this.
do this or understand this perspective, right? Like, this is how I view this. Can you respect that? And if you're like, you know what, I never viewed it that way. Yeah, I can respect that. Okay, cool. And then you keep growing together. If it's like, no, I can't view it that way. I don't want that. And then they throw their little tantrum. It's like, please,
bye.
Let me show you the door.
Adiós.
Yes.
Aquí está la puerta.
Sí.
Te puedes ir.
Estamos muy
Vete,
grandes
no
para esto.
regreses.
Yeah.
Exactamente. So this is the thing. So anyway, back to self-love. What do you like to do for self-care and self-love?
Well, me.
For you, Angelica.
Yes, for me.
Tell me.
So I like to work out for sure. I love the feeling.
Yeah.
I like to work out. I like to, honestly, I like alone time. Like, I really, really enjoy my alone time. Like being in my room,
Yes.
listening to a podcast, or in the, like, I used to hate traffic, but I don't anymore because that's my time.
You
To
turn on the radio.
Listen
or-
to an audiobook, talk to a friend, connect with someone. For me, connection is huge, right? Like, I like having relationships. I like connecting with friendships, family, my child. Like, I have a great relationship with my son. We talk all the time.
I love your relationship with your
I
son.
love my relationship with my son. He's amazing.
He is amazing.
And I told him not to hear this podcast.
Angelica's son, you're amazing.
So anyways, for me, self-care, self-love is super important. It's just super important to make that time for yourself, whatever that looks like. Maybe I get up and I go for a walk by myself, right? Or I'm a very social person, which it's opposite of me wanting alone time, but I am a social person. I have a lot of connections.
But you like that.
I love my friends. I love my family. I love making that time for them. I love you, Carla. She was pointing at herself right now. I love you, Carla.
I love you, Angelica.
And it's just for self-care. I mean, it's important to me. I love learning. I love growing. I'm a student at heart. Like, to me, learning is so important. Yeah.
I admire
if I could be
you.
in school forever, I would.
I admire you for that school.
I love school.
I hate it.
Should I get my PhD?
Girl, you are, how old are you? 35? 37? I'm your mom? Like, how old are you?
39.
Girl, do it. What is holding, somebody told me, time is going to go by.
I said that
Do
when I
it.
went back and got my master's.
Do it.
But honestly, I'm burnt out right now, so I can't go back right
take
now.
a break
I'm
and
going
go
to take a
back.
break, and I know there's going to be a time for it. And honestly, the only reason I wanted to get my PhD was because I wanted my son to call me Dr. Mom, but he said no. So anyway, yeah, he said no.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to call me Dr. Mom. So then I decided maybe I'm not going to. But yeah, so that's what I do for self-love, self-care. I journal. I read. I do breathing exercises. I meditate. I go get my hair done with super cool hairstylist named Carla. I
do hair.
get massages for sure. I go get massages.
That's awesome.
I journal a lot. I like to ask myself a lot of deep questions and like get to know myself.
Yeah.
The one thing I haven't done, and I was thinking about it today in traffic, was go to the movies by myself or go to dinner by myself on like a busy dinner night, like a Friday or Saturday night. I have yet to do that.
Okay.
But my goal for 2022 is like, just freaking do it.
I did the movies by myself one time and I was so nervous, but I was like, I'm going to do it. This was a long time. I was still married. I was still, and I did it and it was like amazing. But, obviously I went to like a matinee, like at 11 o'clock and everybody that was there was alone.
Yes, but let's do Friday night. Alone, like I'm not going to go with you.
You know what I've learned? I told you. You know what I have learned? It's no one freaking cares.
No.
No one. You can go to a club by yourself. No one's gonna say, "Oh my God,
they're by themselves."
No one cares.
Honestly, this is something I saw on TikTok. Honestly, I didn't see it on TikTok. I saw it in that recent book, "The Mountain Is You." The best book I've read in a long time. And she was talking about how everyone is so consumed with themselves that they don't really give a shit what you're doing.
They don't care.
They don't care.
I think we care too much
About what other people are thinking about us.
And they're not even caring about what we're doing.
No, they don't give a shit. And so if I want to go to the movies by myself, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not by myself this weekend. So maybe I'll take my son. And then, or go to dinner by yourself. It doesn't matter. No one gives a shit that you're by yourself. Like, no one gives a shit.
And if somebody looks at you weird, you can be like, hello.
Like, you have to be okay dating yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I have so many conversations with myself in my brain.
No, me too.
I do. And I can just sit there.
Listen, I enjoy being by myself. I enjoy going home. And I told you this. I enjoy going home and making a dinner for myself, opening up a bottle of wine, watching a good movie or a good show. And I am so happy. And this is what we go back to self-care and self-love, right? I enjoy all that stuff.
Yeah.
I love being by myself. I've been a loner my whole entire life, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I work out. People tell me I'd rather go jogging with somebody else. I'd rather go jogging by myself. I put my earphones in, some music, and let's go. Gym by myself. No, I don't think I've done dinners by myself. I've done lunches and breakfasts.
Yeah, me too.
And honestly,
it's nice, huh? It's so peaceful.
So nice.
It's so peaceful.
It is so nice. But for me, self-love and self-care is, again, remember I said, doing what you would do with for someone else for yourself.
Love yourself.
I have done so much for other people, meaning men.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Girl, you need to do that for you. So I come home. Same thing. I read.
Mm-hmm.
I
cook.
I cook.
With your air fryer.
My air fryer that I love so much. Thank you, ex-husband.
Beautiful air fryer.
Yes. Like all these things that I'm like, I love it. I love to go for walks. Mm-hmm. I love walking. I love going for walks. And I connect. And I'm a very, ¿cómo te diré? Like I talk to God a lot.
Spiritual?
I'm very spiritual. And I spend my free time talking to God. Yes. I'm sorry. If you're not a godly person, that's okay. I am. And for me, that's my self-love. That's my self-care.
You feel complete when you do those things for yourself.
Yeah. And that has been just recent. Because for a long time, I didn't love myself. For a long time, I didn't take care of myself.
For listeners out there, what does not loving yourself look like as far as habits?
Right.
What does that look like? Give an example.
Exactly. My example was I was doing everything for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what changed me? Just a little while ago, I was talking to my dad. If you know me, what do you know about me, Angelica?
That you love your dad.
Oh my God. My dad is my all. And I was talking to my dad, and the words that came out of his mouth changed
your mindset?
My mindset. He said, quiérete, ámate, love yourself, put yourself first. Because he knew, my dad knows me better than anybody else, right? He knew that I was always putting somebody else first. And he was so like, nope, no. And I was talking to him and I was telling him how sad I was, how upset I was. And he said, you need to value yourself. You need to love yourself. Put yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying ever since then. I'm just saying that
kind of woke you
from
up.
The person that loves me unconditionally, the person that is never going to run away from me,
mm-hmm.
it changed me. It was like, okay. I put myself first. And I have been doing that ever since. And guess what? I am happy. I haven't been like this in such a long time.
You know why? It's because a lot of people think happiness is an external thing. Like when I buy that house or when I meet that person or when I have that
that
job.
was me.
When I have that
was
job or
me.
when I lose the weight or when I gain that muscle or whatever. Like they think that that's when happiness comes. And happiness is from within. And I know so cliche because people always say that happiness is from within, right? But it really is.
It really
It's a choice every day to wake up and choose to be happy. Anyways, that was our episode. Did you want to add anything else, Carla?
Choose yourself, guys.
Choose yourself.
And I cannot wait to come back and tell you more about our experiences. And thank you for tuning.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you for tuning in.
We'll hear you guys. I mean, you'll hear us next time.
You will hear us next time. And yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.